Apologize for keeping you waiting, but it's the only time in my life I've ever been on that lake. It's one of the most amazing lakes in the world, and I was with my friends who have never come as well. I have 4 mics, so you have to hear me when I say this. It was a majestic time, so I apologize for keeping you waiting, but I think that you all, as human beings, will understand. And I also know that I'm able to live a privilege and a blessing to be in your country and be hosted by such great people that are beside myself to even have that experience. Me as somebody who did not grow up with a lot of money, when I moved, especially when I moved to America from Nigeria, I understand what it is to just have a simple cruise on a lake. I don't take it lightly, and so that's why I'm late today. But I thank you so much, and I appreciate you, my friend, for initiating this conference. So I'm excited to hear what everybody has to say.
Thank you. So we'll start with a word from the interpreter.
People to hear me now. I hope so. You said clarify my name. Jidenna. Jide means to embrace or to hold. Nna, in the Igbo language where I'm from, in Nigeria, means the father. So Nna, Jidenna. That's how people say it. But I really don't care how you say it. You can say Jidenna or Jidenna, or even in America, some people are like, hey man, you Jedediah, Jedediah. It don't even have that many letters in it, but it's okay. I don't care. What I do care about while I'm visiting your wonderful country, and truthfully, visiting a few cities in it, because I know the country is larger than the cities. And the land may be bigger than the people, but the land will not ever be bigger than the people that garden it and take care of it. I care more about each and every one of you than I do to the land that I walk on or than the animals that graze it. Because without you, these things will not exist, especially because of the damage that's been done around the world. So I think that it's our challenge and our chance as human beings to take care of ourselves first and foremost, so we can take care of the wonderful land that God gave us. So that's what I care about. Well, that's what I want to learn while I'm in Kampala, in Tebe, or anywhere else. That's what I want to learn. As you can hear, my team is having fun outside. That's because it's been a wonderful welcome to be here. I know, just off reading your news, off reading your history, that this land has great beauties, and it also has challenges like anywhere else in the world. And it brought to life the story that my father used to tell me when I was a little kid. And he told me about the importance of focusing on the culture of a land and not trying to imitate anybody else for clout. There are 3 wise men by the name of Migos, 3 wise philosophers by the name of Migos who hail out of Atlanta, Georgia, where the 85 highway, which I named my album after, stands. And they have a line that says, you do anything for clout. They do anything for clout. Clout as in the fame. Clout as in how many followers you have. Clout as in who you're standing next to on a picture. The reason why I bring it up is because we as Africans have a thing for clout. We have a thing for going for the thing that makes us look like we're valuable. The only thing that will ever make us look like we're valuable is our culture. My dad used to tell me a story because he was a village boy. He's a bushman now. Where he come from, nobody they go to MIT or states like universities like that. He went to that uni specifically because of his passion and his determination to bring technology to Nigeria and to Africa at large. My dad used to tell me a very simple story. He said, in the village, there is one hut that is on fire on one side of the village. Let's say the west side. And that hut is burning for days. And then 100 village people line up from that side to the other side of the village where there is a well. The well be there. The well is there with plenty water. But it needs 100 villagers to go from one side to the other side. So, pass by pass, the pail is taken from the well to the top, and that is passed from 98 people until it gets to the other side. And then one person puts out the fire with the buckets. He said, my son, when you wake up in the morning, who will be on the headline news? How many names? And I said, well, Dad, 1 to 2 names. Probably the one that picks up the pail from the well, and the other one that douses the fire with the water. I said, yes, my son, but 98 names will be left out, because that is not how the world works. But never be the one that cares about the clout on headline news because of who you stood next to. And that is a message that I want to share with you. As you grow and progress as a nation whose crane is in the middle of your flag with 1 foot up with forward progress, as you progress, never worry about the clout. As you progress as individuals in the creative industries and media, as many of you work, in corporate sponsorships, in banks, in different parts of this country and abroad, it's important that we never worry about the clout, the fame. We only worry about the culture. And that's what I'm here to do, and I hope that every day I'm filled with the culture of the Ugandan people. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very passionately about your father, but I'd like to know what influence was he to you in regards to your sense of style, and how just powerful is fashion to an artist?
My father had a fresh beard. His beard was nice. It was 1970s when he used to sport it. He had like funky pants and a 3-piece suit. When I grew up in the 90s, and when I was alive as a little boy, my father had a stroke, so he was disabled. He used to use a cane to walk around. So that like 3-piece suit that he wore in the 70s, the beard and the cane, does it sound familiar? So he influenced my style. For you, it was a dandy fashion. For me, it was my way of grieving my father's death. It was also a way that in America, when I didn't have money, you could always go to a cheap thrift store and get secondhand clothing. And usually, people threw away suits because it wasn't popular. So I took a suit, and because I'm African, I'm Nigerian, you know, we have tailors readily available, more so than even in America. And I took it to a tailor, and I make fresh things that look like they cost $100,000, and they cost like $50. So that's the influence my father had on me.
Thank you.
The other question was, the second one was in regards to, as an artist, just how important is fashion to an artist?
As a human being, fashion is everything. There's a gentleman next to the speaker back there next to the door. He's wearing a blazer with a white shirt, and he has something on his lapel, next to his lapel. I know by that he's in uniform. If a soldier walks around in Lagos or Kigali or Accra or Cairo and they have a beret on, I know they mean business. You understand? Everybody, even if you're Steve Jobs and you wear a turtleneck and jeans, or you're Zuckerberg and you say, I don't care about fashion, but you wore a gray shirt and jeans today and some sandals on the airplane. That means you want to say, hey, I'm wealthy, but I don't need to dress like it. That's how comfortable I am with my success. Fashion always means something. You can't even get away with it. Unless you're naked, I mean, in that case. But even that is a statement, right? So no matter what, that's what we are. We always make statements with what we wear. It's an expression of ourselves.
Thank you. I think.
Okay.
Why?
Why? It was, it's a longer story, but honestly, it's just because my family at the time thought that, you know, they wanted to make sure they raised me for the first 6 to 7 years in Nigeria to have a certain mind state, so that when I went to America, whether it was for school or for different opportunities, which there are also opportunities in Nigeria for the record, but different ones, they wanted to make sure that I went there early enough.
Okay. You have a beautiful song dubbed Bambi. In Uganda, it's like you're pleading or you're concerning somebody.
Yeah.
What does it mean in your language, probably?
My language, it means a deer that Disney made, or what the Italians say as baby. So Igbo language, it doesn't have a meaning. In English, the English meaning is based on the Italian meaning. So I took it to mean like, it was a nickname I gave to a woman who was my dear. So instead of calling her my dear, I called her my Bambi. And that's where it came from. The fears of coming here. But everywhere we go as a team, it shows African Americans, Caribbean Americans that you can go and travel in Africa and not be afraid based on what other people told you to believe. And that is what was at the crux of the center of that debate. AKA and Burna Boy are my friends. South Africans and Nigerians are my friends. Before we had any of these nation states, we had Africa without borders that was run by different ethnic groups and different tribes, as Europeans call them, and we continue to. Now it's a sense of glory for us. But I'll say that it all existed, so we always traveled around. We can't be caught up in the walls and the borders. We're more similar than we are different, and our differences are actually what makes us beautiful. So I understood the issue. I understand why. I've been to the neighborhoods in South Africa that those people that you probably saw on the news, some real and some fake, were expressing their grievances. I also know Nigerians that work and Zimbabweans that work. I know people from all across, from Uganda to Rwanda, that work down there. So to me, it's how do we focus on building countries and really a Pan-African continent that focuses on how we can invest in each other as Africans, and not as this ethnic group or that ethnic group, or this nation is that nation. God made this land abundant, so we don't have to fear for not having enough. If we ever don't have enough in any country or any city on this continent that is the most abundant on planet Earth, then it is our problem to solve. We can't blame anybody else, and we shouldn't blame each other for being on here. The sky is big enough for all the birds to fly without colliding, my friend.
Thank you, Jidenna.
And do y'all know how to whine is a question? And that maybe we'll find that out. I mean, I think that's an important question. I think here's the bigger question, because whining, for me, because I love, I appreciate, and I'm attracted to women, whining revolves around women. What the bigger question is, have you as women learned how to whine around the patriarchy that exists on this land and everywhere on this continent and everywhere in the world? That's the more important thing. I know that, like, in the country that you're from, you have 65% of your parliament is comprised of women. Most of your industries are run by women, and the CEO of most of those industries, from airplanes to tourism to the automobiles in your country, are run by women. The question is, how do we as a society and as men who are threatened by this usually create a society where women are not seen as a threat, and how do we give access and just step out of the way simply so that we can make better countries? Because I do believe, and even if you're a businessman or a businesswoman, when women run a company or women run an industry, it's a more stable country. And Rwanda has paved the way for, I think, the rest of the continent. And I'm hoping that Uganda, Nigeria, Ghana, from all the way down to South Africa can do the same.
Thank you. One last question.
Jidenna, welcome to Uganda. I work with one of the leading dailies, New Vision. And I have two questions. One is 85 to Africa. What does it mean to somebody that is just learning about it? And then I understand you are on a tour. Can you just give us some what tour you are on?
Okay, so in Uganda, what is like one of the main highways that you have here? Or like freeways, highways?
This one, Entebbe Express Highway. This one.
Entebbe Express Highway. You said Ginger Road. So in the U.S. we don't have funky names like that. Our highways are numbers. It'd be like 101, the 1, the 95. The 85 is a highway in the South in America. And it lands in a city named Atlanta, Georgia, which is the mecca for trap music, which is hip-hop music, which runs a good amount of this world. chances are you've heard a trap song. So it's a mecca in many ways. The 85 runs to Atlanta, and you could take a plane from Atlanta direct to a few cities in Africa. So I named my album The 85 to Africa, as in the highway or the route to Africa. It was very much a love letter to African diasporans, so people who are descendants of Africa but live outside. And my hope was that in creating this album, they would understand not just this album, but my mission is to create a highway, economic, spiritual, cultural highway from the diaspora to the continent and from the continent to the diaspora. We have to be a traveling people. We have to trade more. Africa only trades 10% of the time between the countries. 90% goes out. And that's why we suffer more than other continents, if you want to rate it. So these are the things I care about. In the diaspora, we don't trade much either. All our money goes outside. No other group of people does it as much as us. So that highway is very important to me. And to me, it should be important to all of us. That's our focus. And that's what I hope the focus of your head of state for years to come is. Once we build that, we'll be in a whole new world and a whole new territory and a whole new standard of living for all peoples of Uganda and beyond.
How many countries are you visiting for this?
That is up in the air, my friend. We have a few countries that just popped up. They were like, yeah, let's do it. So we may start with 5, but end up with 10 very soon. I don't know yet.
How many have you visited so far?
So far, I was in Rwanda. I was in Nigeria. I'm in Uganda now. I'll go to South Africa next. But there's a few other countries that we just have to close out some paperwork, and then maybe I'll be in there.
But then you're not performing in some countries. You didn't perform in Rwanda. Why? Is it?
I did perform in Rwanda.
Why is it?
You people need to follow me. You have come as press, but now you don't know anything.
Great. That's a big portion. House of DJs, please.
Can't wait to get finished.
Okay.
And move around.
I needed this on the boat. Where were you?
So as you enjoy the rest of your cruises,
Yeah.
we have decided to give you a blanket to keep you warm, courtesy of Tuscamo.
All right.
So,
Thank you very much.
okay.
Appreciate it.
And then we also know that our power source out there is not that good sometimes, yeah? So you will need a charger. It's a wireless charger, so you don't need
True.
to move with anything. You just move with your phone and the wireless charger, courtesy of Tuscamo. So enjoy Uganda. That is our courtesy, and that's what the finest does.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Gandhi. So, Jidenna, you can see on Arizona upload your Instagram story.
Great on having the same artist, and many people have asked how that's going to work and everything, and we're going to show you this weekend that it's going to work because the events are completely different and they have completely different vibes, and we're really excited to have Jidenna perform at both of these events. As the ASFAs, we're an official partner as Talent Africa, and with Blankets and Wine, we work as their booking agent, and we're really happy to be putting this together. We need to thank you guys, the media, for all the support that you've given us throughout this campaign so far in both the events, and we look really forward to having big crowds at both events and amazing events. I just want to thank a few people on some of the ASFA sponsors. There's a lot of them. We need to thank Ciroc, Plascon, South African Airways, Isuzu, NTV, Capital FM, Schweppes, Imagine Designs, Graphic Systems, AGC Red Carpets, Fireworks 7000, Reach a Hand, Spectrum Restaurant, Mac Cosmetics, Spice TV, JMM, Serena Hotels, Fenon, Pig Coconut, and Uber for coming on board and supporting the event. And a lot of people are asking why we have Jidenna here so early. And the reason is because we're taking him on a vacation. He's going to come here to see our beautiful country and see what Uganda has to offer. We've been talking about it a lot with his team, and he's going to be going to Nile River Lodge at Merchants Falls National Park, where he's going to be spending a couple nights checking out the going on a safari, going on game drives, seeing the falls, hiking to the top of the falls, and just doing a lot of amazing stuff. And he's been busy on tour, so hopefully he gets a few days just to relax and take it easy before he gets back to town. And then we have 2 big events ahead of us. I also need to quickly thank some of our partners on the tourism project. That's UTB, the Ministry of Tourism, Nile River Lodge, and Mavule Boat, where he just had a boat cruise. Thank you guys all so much for the support. And I'm going to hand the mic over to Brian. There you go.
Thank you.
Mainly not because of his music, but because of his style, us being a Style and Fashion Award platform. Yeah, we love his style. We're excited to have him to see him perform. Yeah, our theme this year is the stars. When I had a chat with Ali and I was asking which artist is fit for this, he was like, Jidenna was like, yeah, his music, his fashion, so let's do it. So we're really excited, and thank you everyone for coming, and yeah, let's have a good show.
Thank you.
The 7th year in a row that we as Tascamont have been part of Blankets and Wine. And if all of you know what Tascamont is about, we are about bringing fine music experiences to our consumers out there. I think we've given a stage year after year for Afro music acts to actually come up there and show what they're made of. And this 2019 being the biggest and the best year as Tascamont, we decided, why not bring the finest? Why not bring somebody who is right now Africa's finest, who resonates with Tascamont, which is also Africa's finest. I don't know you people if you're very conversant with the brewing process, but when you say a beer is made of 100% malt, that means that's the finest that you can ever get out of a beer. No additives, nothing else, it's 100% malt.